Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. PSR is excited to present to you Last Call, featuring your boy, the Pimp Slap P.O.D., Mike M.
Pimpin' ain't easy, but it's fun like money. Got bookies on the run, now it's time to get money. Not your typical way to ball. It's last call like some convicts waiting on the next draw. You can feel the tension. Did I mention? Fools better pay attention, cause we getting paid like a pension. T's on the ones and twos, we not the ones that lose. Mike, money's killers, Mike even make the even news.
And now, let's get to the picks.
We be pumping! Buzz Force Radio, you know we be pumping!
What up, what up, what up? TGIF and welcome to Last Call. We are rocking and rolling live here Monday to Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern, and today, February 9th. Just 2 more days till we get to the Super Bowl. How exciting. And they did us dirty today on the sports card. Cannot believe it. We've got, 3 NHL games. We've got 3 college basketball games. And I don't know, there's like 6 NBA games. But that doesn't mean we don't have a 10-pack of bets ready for everybody to get out there and get to the window with tonight. So super excited here. Again, just a couple more sleeps away from the big game. You know, we've been sharing the road to the NFL right from the hop here. All week long, we've had plays by myself, the guests that have come in there sharing props, looks, advantages that we think everybody can go and take to the bookies on Sunday. Or at least look like the smartest person in the room when you go to your Super Bowl parties with your friends. Start calling out these plays like what our guy Billy Briz gave as far as the halftime first song and, Travis Kelce to get a rushing yard for a $1,500 score. And you guys can go out there and look like experts and get the job done. But here we are today. You guys know the deal here. We're going to rock and roll through this card. There's a reason that the number 10 works out to be the number on these shows. That's the sweet spot here. That's the sweet spot I've identified in the way I go about my business to be able to go out there and turn a profit day in and day out. So I always try to get to that number, not to force it, but I think today, organically, it just happened to be 10 without having to go back, cut, or add and try to get to that spot. So I'm excited to go through the card. Pretty heavy NBA action yesterday. Those last 2 games, the Blazers and the Lakers in an NBA transfer day, knew better than to do that. But look, we're going to get into it, guys. You stay tuned here. We've got the NHL. We're going to go into the college hoops games. We're going to go into the NBA. We got our MMA expert, Jeff, coming in here. MMA Jeff's going to share some looks for the UFC card this weekend to get everybody paid. And then we're going to talk a little bit about some of them Super Bowl props. So it's going to be a fun show. Appreciate everybody dropping in. Before we get going, give everyone their shout outs. You know, there's 3 things we ask you to do every day on this show. Real simple, low effort activities here. Smash the thumbs up button. Show us the love. Hit that thumbs up. If you're making money with us, you're getting that cash. The gentle reminder here, the friendly reminder, hit that thumbs up button. Cost you nothing. Lets everybody know we're here doing it. We want to be that number 1 show on this YouTube 6 p.m. panel and slate, and let the ones that they can all try to be as good as what we're doing here, not just with the panel, but the chat as well too. Grab a pen and paper. You guys know the situation, not just from the panel, but the chat is sharp as hell and getting sharper every day. So you want to write down those plays all across the slate, whether they be 6:30 starts, 7 p.m. Easterns, all the way up to 10, 11 o'clock spots. We even get horse racing plays out there from a number of the folks and crew. So you're going to want to write those plays down. And then last but not least, share your looks, baby. Let's see how we're all trying to cook them books. We can work together as one to smash them bookies and take those banks right into our bankroll and stack them up high. It's Friday. We're getting into the weekend. It's going to be a great weekend. Lots of fun. There's going to be lots of things popping around PSR, as you already know. Them boys, Dabby and C-Mac on Saturday, giving you guys college basketball live stream. The MMA show with Billy Briz and the crew Saturday evening. Sunday's going to roll into a Jimmy the Bag special. His boys, them San Francisco 49ers, going to be taking it to the live screen and sweating it out with everybody in person. Going to have a lot of fun doing that as well. But here we are on Friday. It's time to get to work. We've got a lot of work to do. You guys already know the deal. Small slate gives us the opportunity to dive deep, and deep we did. So we'll shout you guys out here, starting with our guy, Joe T. First guy in the chat, again, sharing his plays. Says, let's get that cash. His best bet is the Dayton VCU game over 134. Awesome to have our guy Joe T dropping a college basketball play because it's a tight slate. I know a lot of guys who just put their hands up and say, I pass. Well, we're not quarterbacks. We're here making plays. We're not out here to give passes. We're here to connect and score touchdowns, baby. Gaddy Daddy says, time to put these bookies in a body bag on Saturday. You already know, Gaddy Daddy. Make America great again. It's great to see you. And Jay Smooth, the smooth balls play of the day. You got to keep them smooth, baby. Pitt, Minnesota, first period under 1.5. He's putting the skates on there and taking to the ice for his smooth balls POD. Markel's in the chat. Crystal Craig's in the chat. Bo Jackson. Crystal Craig says, I always have to rewind the opening and hear it again. Best opening in the business. You already know. I like the end of it there. Would they give it the old, you know? Let's go, Bo Jackson. You know Bo Jackson likes that wild money line. It's Marc-Andre Fleury night. Bo Jackson, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's been Marc-Andre Fleury night since like the middle of December. Respect you, my guy. Shout out. We'll talk about that game as well. Perky Bumps, Senior Bumps, living his best life out there in Las Vegas. They're enjoying Las Vegas. Hope you're making that cash, my guy. Nut Flush Allen, the team total whisperers in the house tonight. Always great to see him. Big Scott 510 says, what's good, Mike? Let's get this cash. Will you be placing any power slap bets tonight? Big Scott, that's a hard no for me on the power slap bets. I mean, it's a small slate tonight. I vowed not just a week ago that I would never watch a power slap event. But since we have like a 10-game card, I may take a look. If I do, Big Scott, you know where to find me, and we can trade. Full disclosure, I don't know anything about power slap. I have a tough time watching a grown-ass man let another grown-ass man bitch slap him right in the face on national television. But that's a different story in itself. Nanya says, off work and hit the crib just in time. You're getting out of work, Nanya. We appreciate you hanging out with us, taking that time out of your personal life to see what we're going to get that cash on tonight. And there's Ian Shaber. Smooth. Smash the like, you dogs. Perky Bumps. He's blessing the troops, of course. Let's go. Perky likes Dayton. He's got some nasty nasties in the chat that he's sharing with everybody out there. Nanya does. Who tailed UAB, Sanford, and Tarleton yesterday? Nice job for you, Nanya. Took a couple L's in that one. I was due for a couple tough college basketball games, but yesterday was just disrespectful. Come on now. Shout out to you, though, Nanya. Congrats on your cash. Brian Watson in the house. Make America great again. Says, I think drawing the wild game is a good play along with others. Kenny Wood, what up? Caddy Daddy says, UFC's going with the Mel Garcia fight to not go the distance at plus 150. Brian Watson says Sanford Yahoo, and Brian Watson likes VC. I'm assuming VCU at plus 250. Plus 2.5. Make America Great says at least Hawaii forced overtime and came back to win. Shout out to them boys on the island. Happy Warriors indeed yesterday. 29 in the house from Australia, from the land down under. Says, I'm landscaping right now, but I'm here. LFG. Let's go. Appreciate you, my guy. Brian Watson, Nevada, anybody? We'll talk about that game, JPZ. Unless I hear something convincing, I'm probably saving money for tomorrow games. I'm easily convinced, though, Nanya. I'm sorry, JPZ. We're here to do that, my guy. We'll at least share it for you. We'll lay it out. You decide if you're going to play it out. How about that? That's only fair. Jason Campos there says Dayton versus VCU with a question mark. Look, that's not a game that made my card here, but I'll tell you guys just off the hop. A-10 home dogs, tremendous disadvantage this season. They're 1-8, that that A-10 home dog situation. So, does that mean anything? Maybe, maybe not. I think VCU, with the coaching change, losing their star player as well, difficult situation. Now, they did just handle them itsy-bitsy Richmond Spiders, but I don't know. I think this is to me is a Dayton team that has shown no all gas, no brakes, as they say. So anyhow, that's what it is. Nanya says Baden. Geez, yeah. Let's just put that on the screen for my guy. Appreciate you guys all dropping in. Trans Canada in the house says the pimp. I know the bag's weakness, and that's to bring up torts. I missed it. I must have missed it there. We did cash with that Flyers game last night, though, guys. Write it down. Remember it. It might sound random at times, but it's all for the development, right? We teach somebody how to fish. They eat forever. And a team on the road coming off a shutout does not fare well. That thing was start to finish snooze fest if you had them Philadelphia Flyers. Jason Mayer, what up? Jason says, I would like to claim that North Florida and Bucks lost yesterday. Great call, Pimp. Hey, we were due for that. North Florida one was a fun little slipper in there. We snuck that thing through, or I'm sorry, that Northern Alabama spot there outright with that 5.5 points. So let's go. Justin McKelvey in the chat says Stacks POD Sacramento Kings team total over 116.5 from our guy Stacks, getting it rolling. And shout out to himself, the man, the myth. He's not really a myth. He pokes his head around Pub Sports Radio and blesses us with his time. And he's blessed us with some bankroll today. He says, hit the like for Andre Waters, a $20 dono from our guy, Sean Higgs. Great dude, fun to hang out with, good to get to know, trading messages back and forth, sharing insight around player props and things like that. Is awesome to have a guy in the network, in the know with the experience that he does as well and sharing that cash. Sean Higgs, salute to you, my friend. Appreciate you blessing our action tonight, you guys. Troy Torrance in the house. He's checking in. Ian Shaver says, Sean Hicks, we see you, fam. And there's Wine Time, ready to roll. Nut Flush and JPZ going back and forth. Guys, we got to get rolling here. Craig Wood says, Mike's, listen, man, I appreciate it. Hit the like button, though. Please hit that like button for us. Show the support. Let's rock and roll. Dana helps in the chat as well. Everybody's here. It looks like we're ready to go. Let's start this thing off. You know the situation. We recap every day, good, bad, or ugly. We're going to go through this recap. And it was a 6-4 day yesterday. It was starting out screaming yesterday until that Portland -7 and Lakers +3.5 spots fell. I'll tell you what. I'll raise my hand. Guilty of falling into that hype about the Kobe situation. And then I saw some great, well, it's not great, but it's disappointing factors in what the Lakers have done when there's been big Kobe factors in play. And it's not good. It's not win. So we took that loss. We took that loss and we took the Portland losses. But outside of that, it was really a nice spot there. The New Jersey Devils under 6.5. All right. You know what? Fuck you. If you went on the other side of that one, good for you. I hope you cashed. I hope you enjoyed it. We had an opportunity I thought made a lot of sense, and it didn't. So New Jersey is a straight over team. Congrats to all you guys that made that cash. But we got that Flyer spot at +118. We got that Vegas spot at -134. The revenge spot, another angle I've shared with you folks in and out on the regular. Every time it pops up, you're a home favorite, you take a loss, you go on the road in the same season against that team, and you're the road favorite. Smash that team in the smashing of Las Vegas. Yeah, it got sweaty at the end, but they went out early and really didn't look back. So that was a nice little victory for us. We cashed that Oakland first half damn near before the show ended. How about that call? Oakland first half, I said the line to me kind of reads Oakland comes out early and then North Kentucky comes back and either backdoors or wins. And they ended up winning outright. Spot on, but we got our cash. We got that North Alabama +5 cash. We lost to Portland State 9.5. I don't know. Bad call. I'll scratch that one up to a bad call. Those teams, it was 9.5 for a reason, as it turns out. And then the Nets under 224 and the Minnesota T-Wolves at -125 were victories to close out the day. You know, honorable mention. Don't give the honorable mention much. But as far as that Denver game, nailed that Jamal Murray spot there. Talked about his 3-pointers over 2.5. What do you get, 5? Then we talked about the double-double at +375. Said the numbers don't suggest Joker gets the double-double. Why was he sitting at +185s and +190s? The Joker triple-double spots are usually, -115s and -150s. And to get almost 2 for 1 on your money did not make sense. But the Jamal Murray spot came through at +375. We didn't have it, but hopefully somebody had it in the chat there. I'd love to hear that spot out there. But let's get going. Let's rock and roll. Ricky Levine says, Pimp slap 3-0 day on the ice yesterday. Let's get it, my guy, Ricky. Good for you. Nutflush says, damn it, Mike. I wish I would have had time yesterday to give you the Portland team total over. I wish you did too. I ended up taking the L on that one. Still a great night. Still a real positive night overall. But, some of the spots became a little heavier as things started winning earlier. And that's the way it goes. So let's roll. I see our guy, Marcus McCarthy, in the chat. And Marcus Anderson says, no, Mike M. Chiefs all the way. You talking to me? You talking to me this whole time? Listen, I never said anything about taking anything else but the Chiefs in this point here. This is the Tom Brady, Bill Belichick era, except you've already seen it. Why take 6 Super Bowls before you realize you got to get in on that guy, Patty Mahomes, to get the job done? And did you see his wife? His wife's going to be out there for the Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition. It's Taylor Swift's universe. We're all just living in it. Get out of here if you're thinking about them 49ers. But more to come on that. More to come. Let's go. Troy Torrance says similar market to when we cashed on the Pelicans outright versus the Clip Show. And great to see all you guys in here. Let's get rolling. Talking to me. Let's roll, guys. That was a bad De Niro impression, but nonetheless, the intent was there. And sometimes, unless we're talking about sports gambling, as long as the intent's there, it counts. It counts in a lot of things. Criminal activities. It counts in, bringing your girl flowers, even if they're the wrong ones. It counts in all kinds of things out there. The intent matters most. And let's roll. Let's talk about this first hockey game. Lace them up, boys and girls. It's only a 3-game hockey slate, but a 3-game hockey slate we're going to tear into with reckless abandon tonight. That's right. Focused and fired up. We have been kicking ass and taking names since this all-star break in the NHL. It just feels right, doesn't it? Doesn't it feel good getting these hockey cashers out there? And we're going to go for it again tonight here. We're jumping in right off the hop on this Pittsburgh Penguins game. Look, you guys have seen me track them before. That posse of teams, one of which includes the Winnipeg Jets. Pittsburgh handles the Winnipeg Jets. And what do teams do after they handle the Winnipeg Jets? They go out and perform 3-1, 33-11 over a 44-game sample in that spot of teams. Then you look at this thing here, and Pittsburgh's going to Nedeljkovic, 8-3-3, serviceable, sure, 2.6 goals against average, 91.8 save percentage. We got Marc-Andre Fleury. I shared a video today. Hopefully you guys got to go check it out. Follow me on X if you haven't seen it yet, but old man time coming back from the pine. It's all about this guy with his lower body injury. Has not started a game since January 19th. Now, he was playing well before that. But you are what your numbers say are, and he's at 2.95 goals against average, 89.7 save percentage. Coming back after almost a month's worth of rest. The rest versus rust dilemma is very much in play. And when we've got a total of 6, and home teams in a total of 6 have gone 5-14 in those spots. So, I originally liked the idea of Tristan Jarry being in goal. When I started looking at it, and I thought, it doesn't really matter to me. Minnesota's not scoring goals. They're getting 1-game margins, 1-game victories out there with their total margin. So, you want to look at this thing. They have not covered the puck line 7 straight games in a row against a team with a winning record or that has a win streak going. And Pittsburgh does just that. They've won 2 games in a row now to take on this Minnesota team. I'm going to take the money line on this one. You'll see why. You'll see why as we start to stack the card together and try to see how I'm looking to attack this thing. But, I'll explain it to you when we get to that last game on the card. But a -125 to me, that's low enough big for an NHL slate that I'm betting UFC at -180s. I hate doing it, but sometimes that's where the cash is. So I've been seasoned and hardened around a number like a -125 to think that, there still is value in that spot. And Vinny V says Pittsburgh's team total over. Loyalty Chisel, good to see you out there, my friend, says Penguins, Oilers, Rangers, chalk night. And JPC says, I think the Oilers win. It's me too. We'll talk about it. Can't wait. Wine Time Sports says, I moved on the Penguins with you, Mikey. Let's get it, our guy. Ricky Levine on the Pittsburgh money line. Minnesota 0-5 as road dogs and under 6.5. I think this is a tricky little spot, though. Did I screw this up? No, Minnesota's the home team. Maybe he meant the home team out there. I was like, oh shit, did I just go through this thing all day, Ricky, and have the wrong side there? Kelly B says Minnesota Marc-Andre Fleury night money line, celebrating him. Yeah, Pens 9-1 straight up series. Pens laid down here. We've disagreed before. And we're going to move on. The numbers suggest this is a Marc-Andre Fleury gets slapped upside the head with a powdered backhand. You know what that is, aka the pimp slap. Let's move on to game number 2 here. New York Rangers, the Chicago Blackhawks. And I'm going to dub this game the old mindfuck. It's the classic mindfuck 101. I'll break it down and explain exactly why I feel that way with this game here. We've got the Rangers and Shesterkin going in goal. We've got the Chicago Blackhawks and Mrazek. Mrazek is getting another start now, so this is his 4th start in a row. He's 0-4 in those starts, by the way. So, the big factor there, though, is he does have 2 or fewer goals in each of them at 94.1% saving. Chicago's offense, the worst in the league. And the reason I say this is the mindfuck game is Shesterkin should have started after the All-Star break. What did they do, though? He wasn't playing very well going in. He kind of had a little wear on the tread of the tires. And so coming out of the All-Star break, in games they should have had him in, specifically Colorado is one of them, they kept him on the bench behind the backup, the 36-year-old netminder and Jonathan Quick. Well, what did they do? They told him he's got to get better. They got to rebuild this guy's confidence, though. So first you mindfuck him. First you sit him down when it should be his start as the designated starter. You slap him around a little bit during practice. You talk a little shit. You let some of the captains on the team know you're disappointed with his performance. Then what do? You finally throw him back into the fire, only it's burnt out coals here because he's playing the Chicago Blackhawks. So, of course, he's going to build his confidence back up here. Chicago's struggling across the board. Difficult spot for them. You look at everything that Chicago's doing, it's low scoring. The Blackhawks have scored just 11 goals in their last 11 games and one or fewer goals in 11 of their last 16 games. So, again, I think the classic mindfuck coupled with the low scoring aspect for the Chicago Blackhawks and the Rangers keeping it tight and playing some defense meant that the plus 105 under 5.5 spot is all over the card for me tonight. Low vig opportunity. Let me just double check now. Since we're here with last call, I want to run with y'all. Let's make sure we get the best number on this thing from the over-under perspective here. A lot of time looking at computer screens. It gets harder and harder as I get older and older here, but you guys know the deal. Minus 105s now. We're moving in the right direction to take advantage of this this Rangers under 5.5. I just got to make a quick little update. Minus 105 for this New York Rangers under spot here with this Chicago spot there. Remember where you heard it first. The old mindfuck is in play tonight. Jose Sierra says Philadelphia money line. Love to see that. Jay Peasy says it might not be a total false there. If it was Tortorella, he would have already tried to do that. But, they're a little softer now in New York these days, albeit I do still have New York as one of my future tickets. So Kelly V says disagree on Penn's game, agree on the under in the Rangers game. All right, let's go to this third one. Here's why I jumped in on the minus 125. Not mad at anybody that wants to take that Penguins game knowing that Minnesota Wild spot at plus 200. But as we look at this game, I'm taking the swing for the fences with a history trend between these two teams. We've got the Edmonton Oilers putting Picard in goal. Kind of surprising move, but again, serviceable. We'll stamp him with the serviceable brush. 5-2 with a 2.94 goals against average and a 91.5% save percentage. The other side of things, we have the Anaheim Ducks with Gibson, Big John Gibson there, the big guy going in goal. He's the best they got. And the best is 10-19-1, 3.04 goals against average, and a 90.1% save percentage. Lots of things to look at for this game. Specifically, we know this is a rebound spot for the Edmonton Oilers. That 16-game win streak just got crumbled off the All-Star break to that Las Vegas Golden Knights team. And now I think the Ducks are standing on the tracks, and the train is very much coming through. They're not even going to beep the horn in this one. They're just going to let the train go, and if the Ducks see it, so be it. But I don't think that's going to be the case here. Edmonton and the Ducks going back to 2020. Edmonton's got the series record, 8 wins, 1 loss. They're winning games by an astounding 3.56 goals on average in the last 9 games in this series. It's also 7-2 to the over. And it's going over by 1.4 goals a game in the series. The average total is 6.6. That means we're seeing a lot of 7s to get to a 6.6. It's not just a 50, well, it might be a 50-50 between 6.5s and 7s. But the average score, 5.8 to 2.2. I looked at taking this thing all the way up. The books, we've played the vulnerability game with this thing before. The books show vulnerability at -3 or at -2.5. It goes from around a plus 150. And if you go to take them at -3.5, it shoots all the way up to a plus 375. So that's a huge gap there. That's a $2, almost a 2.5 unit gap, suggesting that this game ends around that 3. Now, the -2.5 is around a plus 145 to 150, as I mentioned. I did the homework for you guys. You could take a -2, and you can feel comfortable with that -2 at around a plus 118 spot. But I'm going for the fences on this one here. I don't give a shit if Gibson's in net or not. He is not serviceable, and he's their go-to guy. I love the fact that Picard's in goal, because if we had Skinner in goal on the other side of things, I might think they're going to clamp this thing down. But give me Picard as the backup there. Let him get a little leaky. Edmonton -1.5, and the over 6.5 is a same-game parlay that's priced at plus 235. I am swinging for the fences. I love all 3 of the plays on the hockey card today. I know it's just a 3-game card, but I'm still going for it here. I think this is the opportunity to get it done. If you wanted to backpedal it or backfill it, throw a half a unit on the fucking Anaheim Ducks money line. I mean, I don't know what to say. I wouldn't do that, but the Anaheim Ducks money line is like plus 250. So if you're going to put a full unit on this -1.5 and the over 6.5, and you're concerned that they lose the game, then that half a unit still puts you in a spot to win 2+ units in this game. So you got to do the math. You got to do what works for you, but this works for me just fine. I think Pittsburgh smashes. I love the under in that Rangers game, and I want to go for the gusto with this third game on the NHL slate. And I'm pretty excited about it. I'm downright fucking fired up about it. If you can't hear it in my voice, then you're new here, and that's fine because this is what we do here. Mel's in the chat says, Mike, you know the play. Blackhawks team total under 2.5. Sprinkle the team total under 1.5. Also considering the full game under. I love it. I love those looks, Mel. Always appreciate you coming in there, sharing these opportunities together. You know, that's the thing here. We look together at this board. We start talking about the games aloud with one another, and somebody might hear something different than what we've looked at on the card. And I love those looks, Mel. I think those are some great opportunities to get cash. I would be surprised to see the Blackhawks get 2 goals in this game. And if they do, it's a 3-2 type of final. Daryl Benton says, Mike, I think you're right about Pittsburgh. Appreciate that. Kelly V, Chicago lost 12 of 15 games, many injuries. Yeah, they're just not a good team right now. Daryl Benton sees goals. I hope he's talking about this Edmonton game. And then Philly Eagle Flyer says the Rangers, both teams to score no is plus 520. I got to get the old pen out because that one could very easily find its way to my card. So let's keep rolling. Swiss says we be pubbing. You already know it's Swiss. Let's go, my guy. JP's, he says off all the NHL cappers, I like the Mike is the only one that agrees with me on this Oilers game. I'm gonna move. Listen, it's team history. It's nothing. Well, I mean, there's not just team history. There's a couple more trends that support the Oilers, but that's still double doozy for me there. I don't know who's on the other side of it. Why? Because here's the old blanket strategy. No team should be a minus 300. Stay off my lawn. That's not the case here with this game tonight. This is a spot where Edmonton deserves to be a minus 290. And I would consider you suspect if you gave it out publicly, but I wouldn't be mad at anybody that took that minus 290. I would be shocked if Edmonton loses this game to Anaheim. And I challenge anybody that thinks about this Ducks team winning. So let's roll. Let's move on to the next slate here, guys. College basketball is up and on deck for us. And listen, sorry to be the party pooper here, but it's a 3-game slate. You know, I kind of gave you some of my insight or my assessment, I guess, not my insight, but the numbers that I've been able to glean from looking at a 3-game college basketball card all freaking day. And I think the numbers support Dayton. It's 60% of the bets and 60% of the cash, but the line's dropped. It's moved from a minus 1.5 to a minus 1. The only thing I look at, though, when we compress these things and we start looking at this index, the money line, when it's tight, you guys know we look at these things to kind of see if there's a better story being told. It did open at minus 118, 76% of the bets and 81% of the cash on the Dayton money line. It's moved 2 cents to minus 120. It's moved 18 cents against VCU from a minus 102 to a plus 120. But I don't know. I don't know. I want to take Dayton. I just haven't taken Dayton. What I did do, I looked at the San Diego State Nevada game. I think there's a lot of opportunity in this game here, both sides and totals. This one opened up at 1.5 plus 1.5 for San Diego State, and it's moved to half a point now, even a full point in some books. Cash is coming in all over Nevada. 74% of the bets, 82% of the cash on this Nevada spot, and it's moved. We know this is a revenge situation. San Diego State against Nevada. You know, San Diego State slapped him and disrespected him. It's a different team, though, on the road. And I'm on record as saying Nevada's the second hardest place to play on the road in college basketball. They have one of the most tremendous home court advantages. And it's Friday night in Vegas, man. I mean, 2 days before the Super Bowl, I got to believe that place is going to be fucking crazy. And where I'm going with this one is the team total. 46% of the bets, only 32% on the over. And yet it's moving to the over. Everybody thinks this is a lower scoring game. And I'll tell you why they think it's a lower scoring game. It's the last game they played head to head. And I said before, you can't just judge a game simply in that silo alone. A couple of things going on here. First and foremost, San Diego State, when they did play that game I'm referencing, it was a 71-59 game. So, yeah, they got 130 points. Kind of a difficult spot. That was a number indexed at 139. Here's kind of like, I'm not going to put words in Troy's mouth, but I feel like when I hear Troy give some of his trends, sometimes these are the things that I look for as well. This team was benchmarked at 139, and it sailed under. They opened this lineup higher than that game that already went under. So for whatever it's worth, I think that's a questionable spot. Now, everybody's pounding on this under because the number opened up higher. They only went to a certain point the previous game. And this is where I got to use some of these trends to our advantage collectively. First of all, the last time these two teams played, or the average that these two teams get over a 10-game sample, is 143. And they're each averaging 74 points between them when they play head-to-head. Nevada's very much due, I think, to turn it back around in the spot. But I'm still a little bit of suspect around the Nevada, spread itself here. Again, revenge spot in that situation. But Mountain West teams that are home favorites against the team that ranks is a nationally ranked program are 5-1 in those spots. But the number I'm looking at is the total. It's 4-2 to the over in those positions. The average number we're seeing in Mountain West is a 148. So now we're down on this thing like 7 points. Not only that, but they're going over by 11 points on that 148 to average around a 159. I think this is a buy low opportunity to take this over with this Nevada game. Let me just double check. What the total is now so that we're giving everybody real numbers, real time. It's coming back. 142s now at DK, 142 and a half and 143. So there's the old reverse head fuck there. You don't want to take advantage of this under, go for it. But I'm going to jump on the over at 142 for me in this game. I also like the Nevada spot. I just haven't gotten there yet. If I do, I'll tweet it out. And if I tweet it out, you probably want to avoid it because I think when I have tweeted them out, I'm 0-2. But just not a spot that I want to jump into for me. I think the total is more applicable. It's going to be loud. I think there's going to be points. We already know San Diego State can put the points up here. I like Nevada to get it done. And let's move on. We've got NBA hoops to get to next. I didn't touch that other game as far as the college basketball is concerned. I'll read the numbers off for you guys as far as, the cash flow real quick as we transition here. We've got San Jose State opens at 16 and a half. That's a shitload of points. Clearly, Captain Obvious there. And it's still sitting at 16 and a half, 51% of the bets, but only 41% of the cash. Here's the oddity with this game. Normally we see the bigger bettors are taking all those points. In this case, they're saying Colorado State's going to hammer these fellas here. And we're actually starting to see it move a half a point to a full point. The total's opening and it's going over. It started at 143 and a half. It's up to 147s, 56% of the bets and 58% of the cash. This number is just way too big for me. I know Colorado State's the better team, but are they that much better? I mean, are they in the ranks of a Gonzaga or a San Francisco better than their conference? I don't know. I mean, they beat Creighton on their home court. I get that. I know there's an elevation benefit here, especially San Jose State's got to be coming from, again, damn near sea level. But I'm just not seeing enough victories here with Colorado State. The margin, 75-62 over Boise State, 73-61 over Fresno on the road. San Diego State, 79-71. They lost to Wyoming as an 8-point favorite, 79-76. Just to stay away from me. So no play there for us in that college basketball game. Just one that I really like, and that is going to be the over. If I got to cherry pick something in the slates, I'm cherry picking that over for this Nevada game. And we'll see what happens as we move forward to the NBA. Let's see what you guys have to say out there in the chat. Perky Bumps is saying, Kelly, let's ride. There's Gerardo Hernandez. What up, G? He says Nevada money line. I'm close to pulling the trigger on it. I really am. Steve G says Reno, Nevada, the biggest little city in the world. Kelly V says at Mel PSA. PSA that under 6.5 will not last. Get it early. I think she's talking about that Edmonton game. And Kelly V says Dayton rematch, A-10 championship last year. Go Flyers money line parlay. What are you parlaying it with? What's the other side of the parlay? Let's go. I'm always good for a parlay. I always get excited when I hear those. Top Set says all parlayed with Blackhawks team total under. I like that. I think now you guys are doing something. Now we're working together. Cat, shout out to you guys. Resisting it all says Hawks team total over 124. Ricky Levine says 4 of the last 5 games have gone under 138. Is that the Colorado State game? Let's go. Let's go to the NBA, guys. Dehydrated Friday and about to go self-medicate all weekend long, so we got to get them fluids in when we can. Onward and upward. Marcus McCarthy says the pimp. What up, Marcus? Let's go to the NBA, you guys. Let's lace up the high tops rather and go to the hardwood. You know, we've got ourselves a nice little slate today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games. This is a 6-game NBA slate. And, reluctant as I was yesterday, I opened it up a little bit today, probably a little bit more than I wanted to. We're going to open it up here with this Atlanta 76ers game. We've got 53% of the bets and 59% of the cash on the Sixers. It's not really moved. It did move to 3.5, so it has moved back to 4s. Plus 4s for the Sixers. I wonder who's not starting in this one. The total opened at 239.5, and it's moved on up to a 246. We have 60% of the bets and 55% of the cash on the over in this game. And let me just scroll down. Usually a move like that, somebody's not playing. Let's take a peek. If you guys in the chat know, Well, everybody's out for the Sixers. Batum's out, Covington's out, Embiid we know is out, Melton's out, Maxey is out on Friday with an illness. Other side of things, Clint Capella's out, DeJounte Murray's out, and Normally, I don't care about these injuries, but I've been wrong several odd times recently in the NBA. Let me tell you the angles I was looking at here. Road favorites or small dogs, who are favorites on the average this season, are 1-24 against the spread if they won the previous 2 games by less than a bucket or lost as a dog. So that very much says fade Atlanta. The Sixers are 12-1 against the spread if they lost the last 3 games against the spread, suggesting a bounce back. And the Hawks are 0-9 on the road as the favorite, shorter than a -2 if they have less than 2 days of rest. So not playing well in a short rest period. Last but not least, they're 0-7 against the spread if they're playing against a team that's on a 3 or more game losing streak. But I hate to do this. I hate to pump the brakes, but I'm gonna have to downgrade my Philadelphia 76ers play. You know what? If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I mean, I got enough action in the NBA. There we go. Nutflush Allen says Maxey's out. Yeah, I mean, it's Maxey or nobody. There's nobody else to score. Now Make America Great Again says Hawks smash spot. I don't disagree with that. I got to make some important last minute decisions here. But yeah, I'm going to downgrade that one. So let's move on. I gave you guys the trends and the numbers for it. I hate to do that. In fact, you don't see me do that very often. Usually, what do I say? I don't care. In this case, I do care. And then I was looking at the money line too. Like the plus 146 for the Sixers has moved to 154. Usually we see that number starts to come down a little, but that last minute, that reverse movement on the money line is enough for me. That's it. I'm off that game. On to the next game we've got there. I did not touch this Sixers game. I'm sorry, the Celtics game. I moved on from that game. But I do have a play in this Milwaukee Bucks game. Let's talk about this Bucks game for us here. Kelly V says, Charlotte first half +8. Don't know why, but they play as well. They play them well in the first half. Brent Cook says, it's okay, Mike. Maxey is crucial. Yeah. I mean, I don't even know who else is on the team at this point after the trade. Nutflush Allen says, I bought out of the Sixers team. Yeah. I mean, look, maybe we're all wrong. And I'd rather be safe than sorry, though. I think in this case here, not to be puss safe, but I think that's just the right move at this point here from a recommendation perspective. But let's look at this Hornets game. Interesting numbers that I saw that are what's happening with did I write them down? Let me see. I did. Doc Rivers makes his coaching debut January 29th, and only the Spurs, the Hornets, and the Grizzlies have a worse record than the Bucks since Doc Rivers has come in at 1-5. So 1-5 Bucks, 0-6 Spurs, Hornets, and Grizzlies tells you all you need to know about this Bucks team right now. And let's look at the numbers. I neglected to jump into the cash flow with these guys here. The numbers open up at 14. 70% of the bets and 67% of the cash on the Bucks. The total opened at 241. It's gone down to 226.5. We have 62% of the bets and 40. There's my update that Maxey's out. And 42% of the cash on the over. And it's dropped. Now it's dropped a lot of points. And that's where I'm going to jump in on this one here because, yeah, I look at these two teams and I get it. I understand the situation. First of all, the Hornets are on my shit list. You guys know that already. I'll be damned. I would rather take the Sixers on the money line before I took a whack with the Hornets. No disrespect to anybody that's out there. It's a lot of points. But we look at this Bucks team, rolling with these unders since they've had Doc Rivers take over. And the Hornets have been splashing. They've been scoring. They've been putting points on the board. With the exception of that Pacers game, which was kind of where I would have thought they would have scored 115-99. But that was a total that was pegged at 237. It went under. And here we go with this lower number that has dropped considerably. And where I'm jumping on this one is this over. Double-digit dogs that are off of back-to-back spread wins are 23-0 to the over if either team has rest and the total sits between 224 and 243. This is right in that sweet spot for this over. We're starting to see some buyback on this over now, albeit I believe the best number we can get. Let me double check this thing here. The best number we can grab is starting to see buyback. It was 226.5 just as the show popped off. It's now 227s, 228s. It's 228.5. There's not even a 229 out there. It's 230. So we're going to jump in. We're going to take this over 227 in this game. The Bucks here over 227 official play in the NBA card happens to be the first official play However, I am making a move here. I added a spot that's not on the board. I'll talk about this one really quick because it does fall into this window. Plenty of movement, plenty of opportunity, and I'll go short, sweet, and to the point. We've got a situation north of the border with the dinosaurs. Them Raptors playing the Rockets here. The Rockets making the trip north. 66% of the bets, 47% of the cash on the Rockets. Line's not really moving. It's kind of a frozen line there. There's some books that have the Raptors drop from 2.5s to 2s. Some of those super pricey offshores have some 1.5s. The 233 is the back number. 235.5 is the number now. 62% of the bets love the over. That's a lot of tickets that came in on this over, and yet 64% of the cash is on the under. And I'm in the pros versus Joe situation here. I've seen me enough Raptors games. The Raptors damn near traded half their team away here. I don't even know who's left on the team to go out there and score. And we're getting a spot here where I think it's that sell high situation. They're coming off of 4 straight overs. They're also coming off of a monster road trip as well. I think the legs probably get a little tired. I don't like this Toronto side. I know a lot of people that I've talked to have said, yeah, we're all about this Raptors side of things here, but not for me. I'm going to jump in on this total, and I'm going to jump on this under. I was looking at this road trip situation here. We've got the Houston Rockets, back-to-back road games, under in that Minnesota Timberwolves game. It was lined at 222. They got a 201. I believe we were on that under. The Indianapolis Pacers game, 132, 129. They're back to their over ways. Now they got Toronto. Then they go into Atlanta. I think this is the game they clamp down here. I just think both teams are going to have some fatigue settle in here. So I did jump on. It's the official ad for me. Let me just get the best number we can find out there with this total. 235.5 at minus 110 is good enough for me. So 235.5. The Joes like the over. I'm going to jump in on this under. I'm going to get that hook with me as well with the 235.5 as an official show ad. Works out well. We took one away in the Sixers. We're going to add one in with the Raptors. The Sacramento Kings and the Denver Nuggets is the next play out there here on that second leg of the back-to-back. Outright disrespected the city of Los Angeles on Kobe Bryant night there in the statue ceremony. What a mess. What a shit show. And then Jamal Murray comes out there and gets the insult to injury. I'm already on the Lakers at plus 3.5. Then Jamal Murray goes and gets the double-double at plus 375, and I didn't have cash on it. Not happy about that. Disappointing spot. And I'm going to take it out on him tonight here. I'm going to get all my money back and take the Sacramento Kings game here. We look at this Kings spot. We've got this Kings game opens up at -1. It's moved to -2s and 2.5s now. 62% of the bets and 68% of the cash like the Sacramento Kings. The total's dropping from 233.5s down to 232s. 50-50 as far as the bets, but 59% of the cash think we see a lower scoring game. And then last but not least, we're getting movement on the money line. -116 turns into -125. 68% of the bets, 85% of the cash on the under. On the Kings. And that's where I'm rocking with this one. I'm taking the Kings on the money line. I love this spot. I think this is the kind of spot the Kings find a way to get this job done. Denver is on that second leg. We know that. The Kings had a nice little record going there. Then they came off that 7-game road trip, and we faded them against the Pistons. They got egg on their face. They were 13.5-point favorites. They lost by 13 points. I think this is a spot where they take it out on the Nuggets. I get it. The Nuggets have won 3 in a row. 4 of their last 5 games as well. But predominantly, those were home games here. And I just think they're going to be in a difficult spot here on the road. Some numbers that I have behind it for you guys. The Kings are 11-0 against the spread since January of last year, with rest coming off a loss as more than a 3-point favorite. There's that bounce back. If you want to quantify what it means for the Sacramento Kings instead of just I think, they're 11-0 against the spread going back to January last year. They're also 7-0 against the spread when they're playing a conference team they beat in the previous meeting if they're allowing more than 128 points that previous game. So both signs point to me in this case here, clamping down the defense, shutting down this Denver spot. We'll even see if everybody plays, but the money line for me at -125 is the official. And I double dipped our last game on the board. Talk about going to get my money back here. Let's talk about it. Nutflush Allen. There we go. We got to stop and respect. He says, at Mike looking into the Kings team total over. Well, that makes the paper, my guy. Appreciate you, Nutflush Allen. Kelly V says Charlotte +8, Sprinkle +5. First half plays for our girl Kelly V. Appreciate you, Sharon. Nutflush says Raps team total over. That doesn't correlate with my under, but Hey, all due respect and shout out. Craig Wilkinson says, what's the most confident NBA play today? I got a boost and want to use it. Let me talk about this game aloud. And if I get myself all jacked up, this might make it. So let's dig in. Last game on the card, we're going to move over to our expert. He's in the wings waiting for us for the MMA card this weekend with UFC. But last game to talk about before we get there is the 10:30 Eastern start. I think it says 10:30. Man, going to give me some readers here. The Pelicanos are on the road against the Lake Show. 76% of the bets, 76% of the cash on the Pelicans. I'm going to call foul on those numbers because everybody's on the Pelicans tonight, and everybody's going to get cooked, in my opinion, with this one. The total went to 230, or from 238s down to 233s. 233.5 just poked its head back out there. 49% of the bets and 69% of the cash on the under. Look, we made good money the other day with the Pelicans. The Lakers shit the bed on us last night. I mean, it was Kobe Bryant night. We've talked enough about that. That was the arbitrary. That's like, I know a lot of us do it from time to time, and we see some type of external event that has shit to do with the actual game, and we jump into it because we think that's going to affect it. These guys are fucking athletes, and when they lace up the high tops and go out there on the court, everything else quiets down. They stop thinking about it. They don't have their phones on them. They're not getting updates. I mean, I would say probably barring somebody on their deathbed, in which case they probably wouldn't play, or a spouse that's, in labor might be another factor, which again is something they wouldn't play. All the other shit I think kind of fades away, probably with some exception. I shouldn't just be so absolute about that statement, but we took it on the chin last night. I think tonight they come back and get it done for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, you don't think that they know everyone's laughing at how they were disgraced last night on Kobe Bryant night? Big bad situation for them out there. The Lakers are 10-0 going back to March of 2019 when they're a home dog for the second straight game. That doesn't happen very often. You got to respect the situation where it's a 10-0 spread number out there, and we're getting 3.5s. Let me just make sure I got the best number still. I just mentioned 4s. And there is a 4 now. DraftKings has a 4 sitting at -112. So I don't want to get hooked on this one here. I'm going to take that. I'm going to take all the points I can. I wouldn't be surprised to see him win this game outright. I get it with the Pelicans, but the other number I'm looking at is the intersecting 0 spot. This was a last-minute ad I put on the card as well. Told you guys I was really excited about this card in its entirety tonight, and not just forcing spots, but where I think we've got opportunity to take advantage. The Lakers are 8-0 to the under, and they're smoking the under by 12 points a game when they're home dogs off a loss. Think about how frequently that happens, or I should say infrequently. The Lakers as a home dog after they just lost, and there's really nobody injured or sitting out of this game, right? Potentially. That being said, New Orleans, intersection point, 13-0 to the under when they're on the road versus a conference opponent, and they have a rest disadvantage. So we know the rest advantage always plays a part to the over, but not for the Pelicans. 13-0 to the under on the road versus the conference opponent with rest disadvantage. So I'm all over this situation for the Lakers under, and it's a double dipper for me because I'm going to go get my money back on this Lakers spot from last night. Let me just double check the number for the totals. Then it's continuing to drop. 234. Now there's 233.5s, 233s out there. I'm going to jump in 234. I'm going to take the under in this spot as well, guys. It's best we can do, I think, as far as trying to figure out how to utilize this card in this situation with the NBA to our advantage. Rob Free says, Mike, you're giving the Lakers too much respect. Lakers will lose again. We'll see. I hope not. That's why they got to play the game, I guess. But Kelly V says, was Lakers' first game back after East Coast road trip? But Kobe statue got me. James points. Yeah, I mean, look, it got all of us, Kelly. I mean, made a lot of sense. I mean, I know one guy that was on the Denver spot, but he's always on the Denver spot, so he knows who he is. UFU Society, Mike, Nuggets plus 2.5 is the play of the day. Hey, listen, I hope I got a profitable card, and if I'm kicking ass and taking names, which I expect to be, then maybe you can get one on us there, UFU. But I love seeing you in the chat, my guy. Thank you for commenting. I believe a new name out there in the chat. I haven't seen you comment before, so appreciate that. Jordan Sandberg, can I ask what might be a silly question? Is that the silly question? Oh, when you say 49% of the bets and 69% of the cash, what does that mean? It's not a silly question. That's a great question, Jordan Sandberg, and I'm happy to answer it. We look at this thing and we look at the cash flow and the splits here, guys. Very relevant detour, and shame on me. I mentioned it a couple days ago, but I always bring on new folks and want to educate as well. So we break the numbers down, or the numbers are broken down into percentage of bets and percentage of money. The bets constitutes all tickets that have that team included in it. So that could be parlays. That could be teasers. That can be a shit ton of guys that just won some bingo money and wanted to go throw $5 on the money line because they think it's cute. That's the bets. It's the cash where we tend to look at the cash associating with bigger bettors. Not necessarily all the time. They're sometimes in alignment. But a bigger better doesn't have to be a sharper better, but the bigger better is the one that can more influence the line. I don't think books are still trying to get the same 50-50 cash flow any longer. But in my estimation, and I've been doing this for a while now here, looking at these splits, the cash is what's going to constitute where we should concern ourselves with the line. So, think about it. When I talk about the cash being on one side, we'll use an example in this. Let me find an example with this. I'll use the Celtics game. It opened at 16, 60, only 57% of the bets, but 61% of the cash are on the Celtics. It's gone from 16 to 17 to 17 and a half. The bigger bettors, the guys that have to get clearance from the counters to put their money on the action, 10 grand or bigger better type of things, are putting their money on the Celtics. And in that case, the book said, holy shit, maybe they got an angle that we're not aware of. 16, we better make it 17 or 17 and a half. So that line's moving away from that. And now it's 18 and a half. I mean, there's case in point with the Celtics game here. It's gone from 16 to 18 and a half as we're talking about it, with 61% of the cash coming in. So the majority of the bets are hitting the Celtics and the books are showing vulnerability. On the flip side, let me find one that's a different story here. Let's find one that's a different story here just to keep things rolling with you guys here. Let's look at this. There's a difficult situation here with the card tonight. I referenced it in college basketball. We've got all the money coming in on one side here. We've got 61% of the bets on Dayton. It moved from -1 to minus 1.5 to -1s. 60% of the cash. In that case, the bigger bettors are coming in on Dayton, but it opened at -1 and it's moved to -1.5 and it's moved to -1. So in that case, not that it means anything, at the end of the day, other than just a frame of reference here, but all that big cash came in on Dayton and they said, oh, you like Dayton at -1.5? How about we make Dayton -1? You like it even more? Because we'll take another 10 grand of your action. And so we'll reference that and we'll use that as a frame. Doesn't mean it's that case all the time, but I just try to reference that just as a point of clarification. I thought it was a great question. We didn't have a big card tonight to come up with a lot of examples for it, but if you hear reverse line movement, when the cash is all coming in on one side and they're making it more attractive to bet that side, that's reverse line movement. You want to be on the other side of reverse line movement more often than not to get your cash. But that's going to be our little gambling education for the day. No problem, Jordan Sandberg. Anytime you guys have questions, hit us up here in the chat. And, reach out to me on X. You guys can find me at pimp/pod. I'm always happy. I love talking to you guys. We've had some conversations lately. This is a newer tool, and I know there's still a lot of stay off my lawn guys, curmudgeons that don't want to buy into it. But look, you got to use all the tools available to you to try to come up with the edge. The sports books are using all kinds of new innovative tools to come up with the edge and beat you guys. We're in a situation where we're trying to take advantage, and we got to use all of the tools at our disposal, and that's what happens in here. So let's roll on. Let's go onward and upward. We got our guy waiting backstage long enough. Let's bring him on here to talk about this UFC card, guys. We're going to give you a little try banger of plays to have some fun tomorrow when you're sitting around doing whatever it is you're doing on Saturday itself. So without further ado, let's bring him on. MMA Jeff, how are you?
Hey, good. Appreciate you having me on again. Looking forward to this card, actually. Just got a 4 o'clock start, so a little earlier than last week, which is usually a good thing for me.
Let's go. Kelly V says, Mike, great call in Michigan the other night. Money was staying and the line not moving. Yeah, that was another example of how we use that cash flow stuff. But look, guys, we've got a big deal here with PSR. Jeff won 2 of the contest in 3 weeks over on PSR. We're giving away $100. All you got to do is jump on there and register. Free to enter. It takes just a couple of minutes, and you can go out there. You're going to pick the fighter, the side, the way the fight's going to end, whether it be KO, submission, or decision, the round you think it's going to end in. And when it's all said and done, you have your chance, if you win the contest, to pick up $100. MMA Jeff's had a little richer Christmas by going out there and cashing 2 out of 3 weeks. We'll get that in the chat if we have a couple of minutes for you guys so that you know where to follow it. Again, free to enter. We want to see this thing continue to bust out. I retweeted it over there on X, but let's dig into the card here for this UFC. Jeff, we got this little UFC fight night, and should be a lot of fun to watch here. I know you're opening your card up, And we've got not the first fight of the night, but you're looking at the second one with Hyder Emil at 8-0, the number 10 U.S. regional featherweight holder against Fernie Garcia, the number 124 gatekeeper, some would say, coming off of 3 losses in a row. Of course, we know this is the debut of Hyder Emil coming off of Dana White's Contender Series. Talk to us about this fight.
I say it all the time. I don't like taking the fighters on their first fight off of the Contender Series. It seems like they get some tough matchups. But I actually, Garcia took this fight on short notice. In fact, this is Hyder Emil's third fight that was actually supposed to be on this card. 2 guys withdrew on him. Now he's actually fighting Garcia. He took the fight short notice. I don't know what that means from a camp perspective, how well he's been training. Obviously, he's been staying in shape, but he's got 3 straight losses. Garcia coming, as he's obviously in the UFC, 3 straight losses, and they were all by decision. Those are, I guess, pretty significant, just given the fact that he can withstand the 3 rounds, and it is only 3 rounds. But Emil again coming off the Dana White Contender Series, he actually went to decision and still managed to impress Dana White and get the contract, which again shows that he can obviously go the distance. He proved to Dana that he's worthy of a UFC contract. So his first fight, we'll see what happens. He's got 4 KO wins, he's got a sub, and he's got 3 fights by decision. So he's 8-0 as a pro. He's on a 9-fight win streak so far. So Fernie, he's got 10 decisions, and I think he's lost about 90% of those. He doesn't do enough during the fights to impress the judges. So if it goes to decision, I'm on Emil at plus 115. I didn't like him. I saw the number up there, 195. I think my book had it at 225 now, 215. So line's moving in his favor. I feel like he's going to win this one. And again, to get the return on investment, I do see it going the distance. The Vegas line actually favors the over 2.5 at minus 230. So Vegas thinks it's going over. I think it's going. I think it's going to go to decision, ultimately over, and I think Hyder's going to get it.
Let's go. Let's keep rolling. The next fight you have for the night, you've got Trevin Giles, the problem, at 16-5, number 55 welterweight in the world, going on there against Carlos Freitas, the nightmare, number 5 welterweight, fighting out of Tabato, Sao Paulo de Brazil. What do you think about this fight here? 6'1", Carlos Freitas. Tell us how you're getting paid.
What stood out to me in this one was Freitas. He's got a slight height and reach advantage. Something that turned me off on him though is he's ranked 5 in Brazil. He's not nationally ranked, but looking further at the down his stats, he's got 12 KO wins as a pro. He's coming off another guy coming off the Dana White Contender Series, and he's coming off a knockout there. He hasn't lost a fight since June of 2019, and he has been a pretty active fighter. So I mean, he's given himself opportunities out there, and he's pretty active as a fighter. Giles is 2-4 out of his last 6. So the 2 of those losses of the 4 actually were by KO. So Freitas at minus 255 didn't sound too appealing. Sometimes I'll take some of that juice, but I do think he's going to KO him with his 12 KOs as a pro. So Freitas by KO turned out to be minus 115.
Let's go.
So I ended up taking that one.
On the card.
Yeah.
Away we go. You're closing the card out here. You got Dan Ige. Is it Dan Ige? 50K.
Yeah.
Dan Ige, the number 13 featherweight in the world, coming off of a loss here to Bryce Mitchell by a unanimous decision. So didn't do enough to wow the judges. Prior to that, had a decision victory. And Andre Touchy-Feely, a.k.a. I do nothing but lose to pimp slap POD money every time he fights. I faded him against Lucas Almeida. He knocked him out, Jeff. Tell us about this fight here. Dan versus Andre. How's it going down?
I was thinking the same thing. Like, let me see this guy's record. Touchy-Feely there. I was like, let me see this guy's record, because I feel like every time I'm watching him, he's losing. Then I saw he was 11-9 as a pro or in the UFC, and I was like, well, he's just under 500, but it makes sense. And then I looked further. He's lost 5 of his last 8, which I was like, wow, that's why I feel like he's losing all the time. I just can't get on the right side of him. And so he's actually coming off a quick turnaround. He had that round 1 KO, but that was just in December. So he's only had 6 weeks or so since his last fight, which obviously he stayed in shape. He won in the first round, so he didn't take any damage. But Ige's he's 9-6 in the UFC, which again isn't great, but he's got 5 KOs and 5 subs, I think, is a total in his career. When going the distance, he's 500 though, so he's another one that doesn't necessarily impress the judges. But Ige being a shorter guy, having the disadvantage on the height and reach, the little guys, they pack some power in their punches. I think there's going to be a lot of respect given on both sides. So I think it's going to be a lot of clinching in this one, which ultimately Ige minus 175. I'll probably end up taking that, but from a return of investment, I think the Ige by decision at plus 160 is the way to go on this one. And again, this is another one that Vegas is favoring the over 2.5 rounds. So I do think it goes to decision, and again, plus money play at 160.
Love it. So we got 3 plays for yourself here for the UFC. Let's transition here. Let's have a little fun. I've been asking, Caddy Daddy says Ige 7-1 as a favorite in the UFC. I've been asking each of the guests that comes on here with the show this week to get excited with us about the road to the Super Bowl. We got props galore that have been given out on this thing here, and I'll put you on the spot as well. I'm going to kick it off. The one that I like the most here, I've already given out the color of the Gatorade to be red. I gave out the Travis Kelce to get over a half a rushing yard at plus, I want to say it was 1,700. I got the game to go to overtime, and I took the first drive for San Francisco results in a punt at plus 130. I'll kick it off here. I'll jump on the sword to start this one off. I got a little same game touchdown parlay here. Not splitting the atom, just going with what's been working. CMC, Christian McCaffrey to get a touchdown, parlayed with Travis Kelce to get a touchdown. I got it. It's square as F. But touchdown at plus 180 for those 2 guys to get a touchdown, I felt like is a good way to. I don't need them to get 2 each. I just need 1 each, and it could potentially be a lower score. So what do you think about the Super Bowl? You excited about it?
I'm excited about it. I'm like a lot of people I've been hearing. I'm on Kansas City. I think they're going to come out with the win. I actually might sprinkle a little on the money line. I've still got to do a little more research, but initially I don't know what the numbers are. But yeah, I'm on Kansas City. I also am on the red Gatorade. The reason I like that is one of the teams that's winning is going to be red. So I figured that. I don't know the odds on that one. I haven't played that, but I will probably jump on that at some point here.
Love it.
I actually did. I went another way again, thinking Kansas City's going to win. Not another way, but I Kelce 2+ touchdowns was plus 250.
There you go.
I thought that's it. I mean, I don't know. I also think Pacheco is probably going to get something out there. I don't think it's all going to go to Kelce, but I think this is actually going to be quite a few touchdowns in this game. Both teams have the capability of shooting down the field. Any of them, anytime. The other play I had was will the team scoring first win the game? I said no at plus 136.
Nice. Got some creative looks there.
Money. Yeah, why not? I was trying to get creative for you there. You told me you wanted a couple of props. Oh, there you go.
There we go. We always look at them. They're smaller bets to be made because of limits and things like that, but they're fun bets to have. You guys take them to the parties, enjoy it with your friends. Go out there and sound like an expert when you tell them the team that scores first isn't going to win the game. And when they score and you stand up and go, everybody relax, this game's not over yet, you're going to look like an all-star. So, Jeff, thanks for coming on tonight, giving us that UFC action. Tell them what you got going on, where they can find you, and what's happening in the world of the MMA for you.
You can follow me on X, JMHockey19. I don't generally give out a whole lot of picks on there. I'm going to start doing that a little bit more, and then we're kind of going to do our shooting the crap talk Saturday for the UFC event. So you can jump onto that as well. That's about all I got going on.
All good stuff, my guy. Thanks for coming on here. Appreciate all you guys in the chat. Our boy said we're light on the likes, you guys. Need you to help us out, support the cause. Smash that thumbs up for us. Give us the like and show the support. I hope you guys have a great weekend. All you up in there, Ricky Levine, Caddy Daddy, Nasty Nate, Kelly V, Wine Time Sports, AOD, Blue Numbers, all you guys coming in representing on the regular. Nasty Nate, of course, helping me with the enunciation there. Ice Viking, Sean Mosier, good to see you, my guy. Appreciate all the new guys and girls in the chat today. Looks like we had a bunch of first-timers. Jordan Sandberg, love to see you, my guy. Let's get that cash. Steve G, Cody Norton. You guys, hope you have a blessed weekend. Let's get some great winners tonight and have a lot of fun this weekend. Enjoy the Super Bowl. Shout out to our guy T. Had a rocking week here. All-star of the week goes to our guy T on the ones and twos. He always does a great job day in and day out. Appreciate having him with me and rocking with us as we try to help you guys with Last Call. We'll see you on Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern. Until then, we be pubbing!